comfortably. Even if you are sitting in a chair, doesn't matter. Keep your legs crossed, sit comfortably. Keep your back, neck and the head in a straight line as much as possible. Keep your hands on the lap with fingers of your choice of mudra. It can be Chin Mudra, Gyan Mudra, Hriday Mudra, whichever mudra you are comfortable with. Keep that in your fingers comfortably on your lap. Keep your eyes gently closed. Observe the whole body in a single stroke from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet. Observe all the sensations in the body for a few seconds. Observe the breathing at the nostril region. When you observe, the breathing becomes slower and slower. Keep observing the breathing for a few seconds. Now, along with the breath, feel the nostrils inside. Locate the center of the eyebrows. Observe the eyebrow center. All of us are observing the eyebrow center behind the closed eyes. Let me chant the mantras. Please listen to them. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Be with the silence for a few more seconds. Our whole being is now ready to receive and process the knowledge being disseminated in today's seminar. Release the mudra. Please follow the instructions. Rub the palms nicely. Apply the center of the palms on the center of the respective eyes. Keep your palms there. Twinkle your eyes. When you twinkle your eyes, you have to see the darkness behind the palms. Let the energy from the palms go and heal the eyes and the whole body. Close your eyes. Bring the palms together in Namaskar Mudra. Gently open the eyes. Dhanyavadaha. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh sir, for the wonderful opening prayer. So we will have a great start, I believe. So before that, I would like to introduce the Oordhvam team who are successfully helping for webinars and conducting some other guest lectures as well as YCB paid courses. I'm the founder. I have completed my doctorate. Also, I'm a therapy consultant. Have done many yoga competitions. And Sendil sir, preceding me, Sendil and Saravanan sir. They are all senior yoga therapists, and they have also completed their level 6, and Sarangan sir is doing PhD. And Suresh is there, the PhD scholar. He is also a defense officer. And we have Venkatakrishnan sir, just now we have seen him. He is the most senior, and he's following the Bihar School of Tradition. And he has completed his doctorate in Yogic scriptures. Also completed, he's strictly following Satyananda Yoga. This is our male faculties, and female faculties. We have Dr. Subhan, who has completed her MPhil, MSc Yoga, MSc Therapy, also is a therapy consultant. And we have K. Kavita ji, PhD scholar. She is also very senior person. She takes almost all the classes, but her favorite topic is Yoga Sutra. We have Gautami Darvesh ji, in which way we'll have big introduction later, from 2 minutes. Then we have Dr. Abhinami. Recently, she has completed her bachelor's in dental surgery. She is also a teacher here. She does many national competitions, winner like Kelo India, National 36th, which happened in Goa and those things. Then we have Kartika ji. She is very specialized in prenatal and postnatal yoga. Apart from that, we have our supporting faculties, Dr. Swarnal Tamam, doctorate in physics. She has also completed level 6. We have C.V. Chakravarti sir, A.R. Tanam, Sangeeta ma'am. They're all supporting in various activities. And mainly Karthikeyan sir and A.R. Tanam. They are basically from Sky Yoga. And they are doing so much of service to us as well. This is what a small introduction about Oordhvam team and who we are before we start proceeding to introduce Gautami ma'am, who's the speaker of today. Small introduction about her. She has basically done her level 3 and level 6 courses from YCB. Level 3 is yoga teacher and evaluator, and level 6 is yoga therapist. And she has also completed 300 hours of level 2 yoga teacher international training from Himalaya Yoga Valley and from Yoga Alliance, and also 200-hour yoga therapy course from KYM Tradition. She has also completed a supportive course for cancer patients covering multi-dimensions. She has also taken courses as well as completed few courses in Shiv Darshan, and she is also helping Urdu and many other centers. So this is a very small and a brief introduction about her. Over to you, Gautami ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om. I would like to thank Kaushik sir for giving me the opportunity to present on this platform. And I welcome all the participants who are joining live today. And thank you for joining on Sunday. We'll start with our session. So, the topic for today is emotional wellness through yoga. And the reason why I chose this topic is because every one of us go through emotional crisis at some point in our life, have gone through or are currently going through, irrespective of the age. And today we are living in a fast-paced world where we are required to juggle with our careers. If somebody is doing their academics, they are required to excel in the academics. Maintain good relationships. Social media expectation. All this have an impact on our emotional health. We're all being taught how to take care of our physical health, but a very few of us have been taught of how to take care of our emotional health. Emotional health is just not being happy, or just being happy is not about emotional health. We all go through different emotions, whether it is positive or whether it is negative emotion. When we're speaking about emotional health, it is about recognizing what are those exact emotions we are going through and being able to express those emotions without breaking down, and not being controlled by those emotions. Today, we're going to discuss various yogic tools. Yoga is not just a physical exercise, it has a deep spiritual science and a psychology which helps us to manage our emotional health and makes us more emotionally resilient. So, we're going to look at various tools that yoga has to offer. right? I'll start my presentation. So learning emotional skills is as important as learning life skills. Now, before I start off with the topic, I want to speak about few famous personalities worldwide who have gone through emotional crisis, but they have chosen to rise above it and have become successful in their life. Okay? So you don't fail in life because of lack of intelligence. You struggle because of unmanaged emotions. Now, with the examples that I'm going to give, you will understand that even your IQ does not matter much, but EQ, which is emotional quotient, matters much than IQ. The first that you see on screen is Abraham Lincoln. He is one of the famous presidents of the United States of America. So, in his initial stages of his political career, he suffered with depression and suicidal thoughts. He took the help of his family, friends, and a trusted doctor, and he came out of that depression and he became one of the world's most famous presidents. The next that you see on screen, I'm sure everyone knows, he's Steve Jobs. He's the former CEO of Apple, and he's also one of the co-founders of Apple. And in the initial stages of his career, he struggled with anger issues. And his anger was so worse that it spoiled the relationships at his office. Um, at one point in time, the co-founder had asked him to move out from the company, which means he was fired from the company because of his anger issues. So Steve Jobs understood what is the exact emotional patterns that he's having. He worked upon himself and he made himself emotionally resilient and stronger. And he came back and he worked and made Apple one of the world's largest company. The next that you see on screen is J.K. Rowling. If you're born in 80s, 90s, you may know her as the author of Harry Potter. Harry Potter has a series of books, and millions of books have been published on the Harry Potter. And very few of us know about her personal life. So, J.K. Rowling conceived the idea of even writing Harry Potter when she was going through severe emotional crisis. She lost her mother during that time. She had to undergo separation. She was a single mother. She had seen extreme poverty, and no publisher was willing to launch her career as an author. With all this happening around, she still went ahead and wrote Harry Potter. And she believed that by focusing on something that is more important, a person can become successful. The next on screen is Michael Jordan. He is one of the famous basketball players in the world. A very few of us may know that Michael Jordan was in his school days not accepted as a basketball player. He was in fact rejected by the school basketball team, which shattered his confidence. But he rose up in spite of those challenges. He said that I fail over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed. The next that you see on screen is Yo-Yo Honey Singh. Honey Singh is again a famous singer in India, in Bollywood especially. Uh, this guy, at the peak of his career, had struggled with severe anxiety because of the popularity and fame that he gained, and he also struggled with bipolar disorder. Okay? But again, he took the friends of his family, he took the support of his friends and his family, and he came out of those symptoms. So with all these personalities, you see that these persons were successful in their life, but at some point in their life, they were going through inner disturbance, the emotional turmoil that they were going through. Okay? So it proves that our success in life depends on how we manage our emotions. Irrespective of how intelligent you are, if you do not know how to manage your emotions, you may not be successful. You've seen cases where some of them were either sad or were not successful, but when they worked on their inner world, they were able to become successful in their life. So now, before understanding what is emotion and which part of our dimension or personality is responsible for creating our emotion, let us look at our inner world. There are four dimensions of a personality. The first is the body, the mind, the intellect, and the consciousness. The body is made up of the five elements of nature, and it is a common in all of us. It is made up of the five elements, except for the shape and size. Each one of us is made up of the same five elements of nature. Consciousness is the pure energy. It remains untouched by the body, mind, and the intellect, and it is the core, it's the subtle aspect, and even that remains the same in all of us. The only variable factor in each one of us is the mind and the intellect. Okay, so mind and the intellect is a variable factor. To understand mind a little further, mind helps us to create thoughts, and we experience the emotions because of the mind. Various emotions such as love, joy, hatred, these all emotions are created by the mind because of thoughts. And mind also creates feelings such as affection or feelings such as loathing. These are the feelings and the emotions is generated by the mind. And intellect thinks and decides what is good for us. Okay. In the modern psychology, the mind can be called as a lower mind and intellect can be called as the higher mind. Okay, which is also called, mind is called as man and intellect is called as buddhi. Right. So we'll look a little further on about mind and the intellect. As I said, mind is responsible for creating the emotions such as joy or fear, anger. All these emotions are created by the mind. It creates feelings such as affection or loathing. It creates likes and dislikes with the thoughts. You may like a person, you may dislike another person, or you may like something that is sweet to eat, or you may dislike something that is bitter to eat. Mind is very impulsive. It acts on the spur of the moment. What this means is, a person the mind makes you act very impulsively. It's something called as impulsive shopping, impulsive marketing. Let's say you decided to go to the market to purchase something, but you ended up taking more than what is required. It is because of the mind which creates its impulsiveness. Or you speak more than what is required, or you overshare your personal details, or you blurt out something very harshly. It is because of the mind which is impulsive. Let us look at the intellect. Intellect has a capacity to reason. It can discriminate what is good versus what is bad. It can discern the right from the wrong. It can help us judge and think what is good in a long-term interest. Right? Both mind and intellect have opposing function. So what this means is, if a person is overwhelmed with emotions, then the faculty of discrimination does not work. Or if there is an acute discrimination, there is no room for emotions. So the functions of the mind and intellect are completely opposite to each other. Because we're discussing about mind and intellect, speaking a bit more further about mind and intellect, understand that both are thoughts, both create stream of thoughts. But thoughts in a confused state is mind, and thoughts in a clear state is the intellect. Okay? So mind is very indecisive. It does not help you decide. Even though options are provided to you for anything, that it will not help you decide. But intellect will help you decide to take this decision, so and so decision. Mind is very fickle. It wants to do something right now, maybe something other the next moment. But intellect provides you a steady, it's very steady. And the deadliest thing that the mind does is it creates attachment. It is the mind that creates attachment, just like a Velcro. Anything that comes in contact with a Velcro, it is very difficult to extricate it. So it is the mind that creates attachment, and it is the intellect that has the ability to help us remain detached. Okay. Now, we'll understand the mind and intellect with a beautiful analogy which is given in the Katha Upanishad. So the 5 horses represents our senses, the reins represent our mind, and the charioteer represents the intellect. So if the charioteer holds the reins loose, the horses move in different direction, which means she may not go to her destination. But if the charioteer holds the reins tight, the horses do not move, which means again she cannot go to a destination. So this means that the charioteer should hold the reins just right so that she can go to her destination. Similarly, when we are speaking in the context of mind and intellect, the charioteer represents the intellect and the reins represents the mind. So the charioteer should be, so the intellect has to be skilled enough so that she can control the mind and the senses. So the message here is that the human being is the only species who has a fully grown intellect, because of which they can control the mind and their senses. Now we have seen that it's the mind is responsible for creating emotions. Intellect has stream of thoughts. Both are create stream of thoughts. But let us understand further as to which aspect of us is responsible for creating these thoughts, for creating desires, for creating emotions. Which aspect of it is it? It is the inherent tendencies or the inclinations that are responsible for creating the thoughts, desires, and our actions. Let us look at it with the help of one cycle. So, any action that we do creates a samskara. Samskara is like a seed. Okay. So, a seed will give rise to, or the seed will sprout into a plant only when there is suitable environment. Okay? So, whatever action we do, whatever we think, repeated thoughts, all those will become like a seed. And then, whenever there's suitable environment, it will give rise to our inclination, because of which there is a desire to act in a similar manner, which will give rise to a firm thought that you're going to act, and it comes into action. Let us discuss this cycle with the help of a positive and a negative samskara. Let's say I have been treated with kindness and compassion by my friends or my teachers or my family. So that is my samskara of being kind and compassionate. Okay, so that is a samskara. Let's suppose there is someone who needs help and there is a suitable environment, which means when the seed will sprout only when there's suitable environment. Let's suppose there's someone who wants my help. So because I have this samskara, I have an inclination to go ahead and help someone. Okay? Because someone needs me. So because of this desire, I take a firm thought that I am going to help so and so person. So now that it gradually fructify into an action, and again, whatever action is performed will be stored within us as karmic imprints. And so this will strengthen the positive samskaras. Okay. Similarly, with negative samskara, let's say someone, or let's say I have been criticized many times, because of which I had become very defensive and angry. So I have stored this samskara of anger within me. So when there is an incident where people start criticizing me, I have a desire to respond, to react to them. You know, because of the desire, I have a firm thought to react to them, and which turns into an action and respond to them angrily and defensively. That strengthens the negative samskaras. So we are going to look at various tools which helps us to break this negative samskara and to strengthen our inner personality. Before this, let us understand what are exactly emotions. Emotions means energy in motion. Okay? They reside in our body. So they are not just thoughts, but you can experience your emotions in your body. For example, you have a presentation to make and you are feeling butterflies in your stomach. So that means you're feeling nervousness, right? Or somebody said you something critical and your face gets red. That means you're experiencing anger. Which means that you can actually feel the emotions in your body. Emotions are nothing but energy in motion, and they're meant to flow through you. They're never supposed to be stuck inside. Just like every energy is not lost, but it only changes its form. What this means is wind is converted into power, or water is converted into hydro energy. Sunlight is converted into electricity with the help of solar. So similarly, emotions are meant to flow. If they get stuck inside, it will lead to some disorders in the body. Just like a wave, emotions have their own peak and then pass through. What this means is, let me explain this to you with the help of an example. Let's suppose you have an interview to attend. Just before the interview, about 1 or 2 hours prior, you may be experiencing a lot of stress and tension. Right? You may be very, very anxious. But after 2 hours, when you really go attend the interview, you feel that your stress and tension has just gone. The emotions have their, just like a wave, they have their own peak and they gradually subside. Understanding emotions a bit further, it is important that we express our emotions. If the emotions are stuck inside, it'll lead to emotional issues, and it'll lead to mental disorders. It will lead to even physical disorders as well. There's an image on the screen that you see. If a person has bottled up anger or stress or grief, then those emotions, remember, those emotions will are staying inside. There is no outlet, there's no vent for it to pass through. And if it is stuck inside, someday it may burst. We're speaking about emotional explosion. A person may just scream or cry without any reason. So this is how it proves that it's important that we express our emotions. Now, as we discussed, emotions don't vanish, they linger in the body, just like a steam in a boiling pot which seeks an outlet. Okay? Now, if the emotions are suppressed, it has an impact on mental and physical health. Let us see the impact it has on our mental health. So, if anger is suppressed for a longer duration, the subconscious mind will convert those anger into passive aggression. So let us take few instances. Let's suppose your friend is anger for some reason at you, and she or he actually does not display anger, but passes on some comments which are not fair. And when you go and ask her, she says that she or he says they're just joking. So this is subtle hostility. So if anger is suppressed, it will lead to either sarcasm or passive aggression, and this creates misunderstanding in relationships. Okay. Now, if anger is again suppressed, if other emotions are suppressed, I have grief, worry, anxiety. If all this is suppressed, at some point of time, if this is not let out, it lead to emotional outbursts. Let's take a case where a person has lost a pet, or has gone through a separation, or has lost someone whom they love the most. So they may, if they have not cried at that time, if they have not let their emotions out during that time, there's a possibility that they may have emotional outbursts. They may likely cry for no reason. Or let's say you went for a movie with your friend, and without any actual reason, she started crying. There were no probable emotional scenes, but she started crying very badly. It is because of the emotions which have been pent up. Okay. In some cases, long-term suppression, which means if the emotions are suppressed for a really long time, it will lead to depression, insomnia, or engaging in addictive behaviors. Let me explain this with the help of examples. Let's suppose a person was in an abusive relationship and they have suppressed their anger for a really long time. And if this happens, this will ultimately lead to depression. Or if a person has been criticized and they never express a feeling, and the entire day there's chatter that's going on in their mind, and if they have not really expressed, the thoughts will continue even in the night, which will lead to insomnia. Or people who have gone through childhood trauma, if they do not share the feelings or do not express their emotions, it will lead to addictive behaviors, such as alcoholism or being addicted to drugs, because they want to numb their feelings for some time. Okay, so suppressing the emotions this proves that suppressing the emotions has a harmful effect on your mind. Let us look at physical manifestations if the emotions are suppressed. So the emotions act on our body through the nervous system and the endocrine system. Okay? So in cases where there is extreme anger, the body will express some in the form of some tightness. A person may experience tightness in the hamstring or clenching of the jaw or abdominal tension. They may experience pain in the stomach. This is how the emotions which are not expressed are stored in our body. Okay? We look at few more instances. If a person is experiencing fear or anxiety, they may feel butterflies in the stomach when there is anxiety, or they may experience lower back when they're going through emotions such as fear. Or if a person has experienced grief or sadness, then in such case they may feel heaviness in chest. They may not be able to breathe deeply, or they may experience lump in the throat. So this is how the emotions physically manifest in our body. Or if a person is experiencing stiffness in shoulders or headache, this means the stress or the worry is manifested in their head, in the neck, and their shoulders. So there's a whole science on human, just like there's human anatomy, there's a whole science on emotional anatomy that says how emotions are actually expressed with the help of the brain through the nervous system and the endocrine system, and this is the impact that it has on our body. Okay. Now, let us look at some practical tools to help manage our emotions. The first tool is to name the emotion. If you want to tame the emotion, it's necessary that you name the emotion. Whatever is the emotion that you're going through, just identify this emotion. First, how will you identify it? You identify the sensation. Whatever sensation, let's suppose you have butterflies in your stomach, or you're feeling heaviness in your chest, or if you're feeling pain in your head, you identify exactly what are the sensations that you're going through. Next, once you identify the sensation, name the exact emotion that you're going through. Once you name the emotion, observe it. Observe it without any judgment. This is called as Sakshi Bhav. Once you observe it without any judgment, you accept that you are going through so and so emotion. Once you accept that you're going through so and so emotion, you do inquire within yourself as to what is it that is causing you this kind of emotion. Now, once you inquire, you step back, you understand that so and so is creating so and so emotion. You take some time and then respond. When you're taking time to respond and not to react, you're actually giving time to your intellect to strengthen your mind and act and react or respond more assertively than reacting. Okay. So let me explain this to you with the help of an example. Let's suppose someone has have been passing critical comments towards me, and I have been experiencing heaviness in my chest, or my face has become red. So the emotion that I'm going through is I'm getting angry and I'm hurt. My heaviness in the chest experienced by I'm getting hurt. So instead of reacting immediately, I observe these emotions going within me, and then I consult and look within to understand what is it that is creating this emotion. Am I wanting to be accepted by people, or do those labels really create my self-worth? Is something that I had to look into, and then give time for my intellect to strengthen or to tell my mind that I may either choose to not respond or maybe ask for clarification. So naming and observing an emotion will help us to manage the present moment. Reflecting on the root cause and to respond wisely purifies our vasanas. It reduces the likelihood of the same emotional pattern. The moment we take time to think and then respond, remember that you're breaking the pattern of those negative sanskaras and you're strengthening your positive sanskaras. Okay. Next is setting healthy boundaries. It may be very difficult to set healthy boundaries, but it's very necessary that we have boundaries because they help us to protect our own energy and help us to become more emotionally stable. Let us take a few cases where we're going to discuss how we can set healthy boundaries. When is it required to set healthy boundaries? Let's suppose your friend is speaking some problem to you over and over again. You're feeling emotionally drained, and that is the time when you need to set boundaries. Or let's say you have been invited to attend a function or an event, but you are feeling completely exhausted. Then you have an option whether you really have to go I mean, would you really go because you're obligated to attend just to please someone, or would you rather choose to rest because you're feeling tired? Then you need to set healthy boundaries. Or let's suppose at workplace, you already having enough of work and you have to meet certain deadlines, but your colleagues gives you some additional works. Are you overcommitting yourself by taking some more additional work? Is it really at that point you need to understand, is it required for me to set certain boundaries? Okay. Now, whenever you act against your feelings, the point when you're not expressing yourself, whether it is emotional drain or whether you're obligated to attend a function or whether you're taking up some additional work, what happens is when you do all this, you are acting against your true feelings. Okay? And over time, this will lead to emotional frustration and emotional buildup. You may understand it much later. So instead, it is necessary that we set healthy boundaries in advance. Okay. Now let us understand why saying no feels impossible. We may be hesitant to say no because we have been asked to please others, just because we want to be feel loved and just because we want to be accepted. Like in a case where you are just listening to the problems over and over again of your friend, just because you wanted to be accepted, you were not setting a healthy boundary. Okay? Or because you feared rejection, or because you feared abandonment. Let's say you have been invited by a friend, and if you do not go, you feared abandonment or rejection. You may overgive yourself in spite of being tired. You may go ahead and attend the event. Okay? So feeling no says impossible in such events. Or maybe you prioritized others' happiness over your own needs. We have seen a case where already you are overcommitted towards the work and somebody gives you some additional work. That's because maybe you prioritize others' happiness over your own needs. And in all these circumstances, saying no feels really impossible. But it is very important that we set healthy boundaries. They protect our own peace without pushing others away. Let us look at how we can express our boundaries gracefully. The first is use I feel statement. Instead of passing on or saying something negative, express your feelings. Be honest in expressing your feelings. Just like a child expresses its feelings, express your feelings. Again, do not throw any tantrums while you're expressing your feelings. Use I feel statements. Choosing the right medium, what this means is instead of dropping a message, the right intention is never conveyed through a message. You can rather choose to either speak to a person in person if a person is available, or if a person is not available, you can choose to speak over the phone. So this is the right medium. It helps you to maintain healthy relationships. Okay? And once you've chosen to have certain boundaries, never feel guilty about it, because remember, you're breaking the old people pleasing pattern by setting the boundaries. Okay? So when we look at the yogic perspective, what it says is apply ahimsa. Be very kind when you're speaking speaking or expressing your own emotions. Speak kindly and express feeling honestly. This is satya. And instead of entangling yourself into negative emotions, you protect your energy. And this is where brahmacharya comes. And once you express your emotions and set certain boundaries, let go of the need to approve those. This is called as aparigraha. Like, for example, we have seen the first case in the previous slide where a person was listening to his or her friend over the same problems over and over and over again. So instead of saying that you are very negative, so what I could rather say is that I understand your problem, and instead of talking about the problems, let us talk about solutions. Just by speaking about the problems, I'm emotionally drained. So this is how we can use I feel statements and use ahimsa, satya, and brahmacharya and aparigraha in our conversations. Okay. Let us look at the next tool. The food has an impact not only on our physical health, it has a great impact on our emotional and our mental health as well. So there's something called as the gut-brain connection. In fact, the gut is called as a second brain. Okay? 90 to 95% of a hormone called as serotonin, which is responsible for creating happiness and calm, is created in our gastrointestinal tract, which means this hormone is produced because of the good bacteria in our gastrointestinal tract. Now, if the bacteria is not there, it has an impact on our moods. We may have mood swings, or we may be irritable, right? So this is the connection between the gut and the brain. There are certain foods that impact our gut health. So now, for this serotonin to be produced, it's necessary that our gastrointestinal tract has good bacteria. Now, if there is bad bacteria, then it spoils the good bacteria. If there is excess of bad bacteria and there is reduction of good bacteria, there is no sufficient serotonin which is being produced in the gastrointestinal tract. So there are certain foods that increases the bad bacteria and reduces the bad bacteria. So foods such as processed and sugary foods, like burgers or pizzas, or these foods will help you create more of bad bacteria. And dry foods will again deplete the bad bacteria in our increase the bad bacteria in the gastrointestinal tract. So now let us understand what kind of foods will help nourish the good bacteria in our body. So fiber-rich food is a food itself to the good bacteria. So good bacteria actually thrives on fiber-rich food. So if a person consumes fiber-rich food such as fruits and vegetables, which has vitamins and prebiotics, and natural juices, they're actually increasing the good bacteria because the good bacteria thrives on such fibrous rich food. So this means if there is enough of good bacteria, then there is enough of serotonin being produced in the gastrointestinal tract. We look at the next tool. The next tool is practicing the asanas. Asanas have an impact not only our physical body but even in on our emotional health as well. You may have experienced that you may feel much lighter after practicing a few asanas. That is because it will help you to release a stored emotion. For example, you're doing bhujangasana, and we have discussed that the emotions such as grief is stored in the chest. So when you do chest opening asanas, it'll help you to release the grief which is stored in the chest. Or if you are doing twists, for example, it has an impact on your abdomen. It helps you release the nervousness or the fear that's there. Or if you're doing back bending asanas, it will help you to release the fear which is stored in the lower back. Okay? So doing asana, practicing them has an impact on your emotional health as well. Next is asanas are not just exercises. The asanas have to be performed with complete awareness on your breath and awareness on your body. If they're just done randomly with your thoughts elsewhere, it does not have any impact on your emotional health and can be equated to just doing an exercise. So when you do asana, when you practice them with complete awareness, that is when it will help you to release the emotional tensions that are trapped in the body. Okay. Now, there are certain areas which store emotions, so we can target to do certain asanas which help us to release those stored emotions. For example, a lot of trauma is stored in the hips. So hip openers such as Baddha Konasana or Kapotasana will help us to release the trauma which is stored in the hips. Or the anger is stored in the hamstrings. So when you do Uttanasana or Paschimottanasana, it will help you to release the tightness from the hamstrings and makes you feel much lighter. The next tool is releasing emotions through breath. As we discussed earlier, emotions are regulated and processed with the help of the nervous system and the endocrine system. When it comes to breath, we will discuss about the nervous system. The autonomic nervous system has been classified into the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So when you experience emotions such as anger and anxiety, or there is an rise, your sympathetic nervous system is activated. And when you experience emotions such as peace and calm and relaxation, that means your parasympathetic nervous system is activated. When you breathe in more deeply, when you exhale more deeply, you're able to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and digest. This is how you release the emotions through your breath. Very important is when you breathe deeply, it helps you activate your vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is one of the important nerves that connects the various body parts. It connects the brain, the lungs, the heart, and the stomach. So vagus nerve is one of the important nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system. And if the vagus nerve is stimulated, it helps us to, manage our stress much better. It helps us feel more calmer. When you breathe in more deeply, you are working on your diaphragm and your intercostal muscles. So as we discussed, when the grief is stored in our chest region, it produces some tightness in the diaphragm or the intercostal muscles. When you breathe in more deeply, this provides relaxation to the muscle and releases from those tension that is there in the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles. We'll look at another tool which will help us to release the pent-up emotions. Chanting is a very profound yogic technique. It helps us to release the emotions. One of the most popular and spiritual mantra is the mantra Om, which has 3 syllables, A, U, and M. This has an impact because it creates vibrations in our body. The syllable A, U, and M are chanted separately and then they are chanted together. So when we chant the mantra or syllable A, it creates vibration in an abdomen. It helps release the fear. It helps release the anger which is stored in stomach or fear which is stored in the lower back, because it will help you to create that vibration. Generally, emotions, your pent-up emotions in your body can even be expressed with the help of sound. You, when you chant you, which is oo, it'll create vibrations in your chest region and help you to release the grief which is stored in your chest region. And by chanting ma, which is M, syllable M, it helps you to create the worry that is stored in your head because it creates vibrations in the head region. It is very natural for us to scream when we are hurt, right? Or if there is a dog which is running towards us, we scream, right? So it is since it's very natural for us to scream and let our emotions out. When we do not express our emotions and when they're pent up, without really telling out our emotions, we can help to release those pent up emotions by chanting Om. You can use any other mantras. It will help you to release those pent up emotions. Okay. Now, the last tool that we're going to discuss is until now, whatever tools we have discussed, those tools will help us to manage and regulate the existing emotions. But what about transforming the emotions? Transforming the emotions is possible when we purify our intellect and our innate tendencies. We have seen the samskaras and the vasanas, right? When we purify our samskaras, our vasanas, and our intellect, that's when we can transform our emotions. Let us look at some practical tools. So, to purify our intellect or to fortify our intellect, we need to have constant access to higher values. So, what this means is when you hear or read something divine, whether it is the Bhagavad Gita or whether it's the Yoga Sutras or whether it is with the lives of famous saints and gurus, you get access to wisdom. So that wisdom should be available to you in the time of need. So it is possible only when you read them or hear them. Okay. The next, human mind has a tendency to discard the information which is not available, right? Which is not being used for. So, almost 90% of the content that we read today, we may forget it in the next week. Generally, have a tendency to forget things because it is how the mind discards the information. So it's necessary that whatever information that we read, we meditate upon it. We contemplate upon it. Only when you contemplate it, you can really apply it in your life. Just reading it will not help you. It's necessary that you contemplate the divine knowledge. Okay, you can now, once you have that divine knowledge, it's necessary that you turn it into belief. You can turn it into belief only when you really act upon it, which means knowledge can be converted into belief only when it is converted into action. For example, the Bhagavad Gita says that focus on your action and do not worry about the result. If I actually practice it for a month, instead of focusing on the result, I focus on my work. In such case, I experience for a month, by doing so, I experience more peace. So, which means I've converted the knowledge into action, and I have a belief now that by focusing on my action rather than result, I'm more peaceful. Right? Build some positive habits that will help you to purify your intellect as well, like reading good content, being in the company of people who inspire you to do something good, engaging in some selfless activity because it'll help you to reduce your ego, and having an attitude of gratitude because it'll help you to cope up with your stress, and giving some minutes of silence to yourself every day so that the intellect can function more clearly. So these are some habits that you can cultivate to strengthen your intellect. The last is to change from negative thinking to positive thinking. It's called as Pratipaksha Bhavana. It is called as cultivating the opposite. So what this means is, let's suppose there is darkness in the room. You actually do not fight darkness, right? You only switch on the light. Similarly, when there is a negative thought in the mind, you just bring in a positive thought. We do not have any control over the thoughts that come up in our mind. They could be positive, they could be negative, but we have an option to nourish certain thoughts. So we can nourish positive thought, thereby we can make our mind our best friend. This is what is called as Pratipaksha Bhavana. Remember, with purifying the intellect, it's not just a one-time event. It is a continuous process with every person that we meet, with every content that we read, with every action that we do, with every habit that we form. We are only strengthening or weakening our inner self. So we'll have to choose very wisely. So at the end, I would like to chant one shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, from the chapter 6, is the fifth shloka. It says, Uddharet Atmanam Atmanam, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam, Na Atmanam Avasadayet, Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. So what this means is, a person can lift oneself by oneself, and one is not supposed to degrade oneself. But the mind can be a best friend and can also be the worst enemy. So I would like to end the session with this. Thank you all for participating for this live session. If you all have any questions, please go ahead.
Now the webinar is open up for questions. If you have any questions, please ask. This is the right moment. If you have any questions, any doubts, you want to appreciate, anything is fine.
It was nice to have on Sunday morning one session like this.
Gautami ma'am, you can stop sharing.
Yes, sir. One
guys,
second, I'm just figuring it out how to
Stop
stop sharing. Yeah.
And kindly make me co-host also.
Gayatri here.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was really great to have the session on a Sunday morning, very peaceful and relaxing. And the content shared was really very practical. Thank you for the session, sir. And Gautami ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, madam. This is Jayanti Jagannathan. Good morning.
Hari Om.
Actually, about the presentation and what all you said, every one of us have gone through all the stages of overcoming the emotions within ourselves. That is what I felt over the past years of our when we work or wherever we are now at present. We have to set a boundary. We have to always say what is the solution for the problems. Think of in a positive way. But sometimes still, in spite of practicing everything, the negative emotion do come, and we have to try to overcome with the positive emotions. It is always happening.
Absolutely.
But as you say, as we practice more of yoga and other way of letting out our emotion, reading good books of divine, everything. Slowly, I think we will not give much attachment to the negative emotions and let it go. Let it go, it happens like that. That is what I have taken from your today's class, madam. Thank you so much. Madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
We will have only one more. Ranjit sir, do you have any question?
Oh, hi, ma'am. Ma'am, you just told about you have to stimulate vagus nerve. So, can you just tell me how to stimulate vagus nerve?
So, chanting. When certain yogic practices are done for certain duration, like for example, chanting, when you do it at least for 20 minutes, it helps you activate the vagus nerve. Or when you're doing deep breathing practices, again, it's not activated just if you do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You'll have to spend time doing deep breathing and focusing more on exhalation. Your exhalation should be twice the inhalation. And if it happens for about your breathing, doing the breathing practices for about 20 minutes or more, it then activates your vagus nerve.
Your presentation was so superb. I'm so excited. See,
Thank you, sir.
I think you should come back with some other subjects because I did MSc Yoga, but you have gone through a lot of things, and at last you brought Pratibhaksha Bhavana. It is exclusively from Patanjali Yoga Sutram. Balamurali sir taught us how to cultivate this habit and so.
Now Balamurali sir is taking a session here. I'll probably show you. It's a live session. Probably I'll show people.
Ma'am, it's amazing.
Gautami
I'm
ma'am,
having
just kindly
goosebumps.
spotlight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good
Yes, sir.
luck.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Balamurali
Hari Om.
sir,
Thank you, ma'am.
And we are here.
Hello. Good morning, Kaushik sir.
Hari Om sir, Hari Om.
Good morning, madam. It is a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir.
Really gone through the session with the full.
I think Shifali ma'am has a question.
Yes.
We'll go to the last question and we'll
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
What you explained about the mind and the different tools. There are 7 types of tools which you explained are really very useful. Really, I will try to follow it myself. I'll try to come out of all kind of effects, bad effects which happens due to emotions. You'll try to convert everything into a positive thing. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Kaushik sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hari Om, Gautami.
Hi,
Answer.
Shifali.
Hello. And it was a lovely, beautiful session. Very simple, crisp, and clear. Everything was unconsciously getting imbibed in the system and very well narrated, very well presented. I'm really so happy. And another thing is that the first thing is that we are aware of it. Somewhere metacognition happen. We do all of that. But to bring that in actual practice, we need little more aware. Now awareness has to be implemented in actions. For that, if you can plan a 15 or 20 minutes is also good to go with the sessions, a flow, then it gets unconsciously imbibed in us because information is available and I think everybody is googling, you know me, right? I even having awareness, but when the crisis comes, when you are into that pattern, you don't know. Either you end up calling, Arey, this is what is happening, please help me what to do. Your system cannot recall.
Right, Shifali.
So that if you have that, like we should be ready for everything, be ready. Like there's a phrase, be prepared and do anything whenever the crisis comes. We don't should not wait for something to happen and then we should. So if we can have some sessions regularly, so our system is automatically aware of, okay, this is how I should function. And that's what I feel.
What I personally believe is we can really strengthen our intellect only when we have constant access to something good. So yes, it's necessary that you read good content, listen to people who motivate you. This way you can,
Yeah.
can make right choices.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much all for joining. Before ending,
Srishaji. 1 second, sir. Srishaji, do you have any question?
Yeah, no questions, but the class is so good. The tools you have provided is so clear, and the way you're telling to be resilient is so good. Yeah, thank you so much for the very
Thank you.
informative class. Thank you.
Thank you, Srishaji.
Thank you.
One thing, Gautami, can I have this session recorded video so that I can make my son also see? Because it's very simple.
Yes, it is. It'll be there in the YouTube. So Kaushik sir is going to put that in the group. I'll share it with you.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any reference book you can mention for this emotional yoga or something like that? You can just
Sir, I
type
have
it in the.
actually given this presentation in a couple of colleges. Every time I presented, I have presented in a different way. So this time it was more polished, and all content I prepared by myself only. So, of course, there's a whole book on emotional anatomy that you can go through. It's not going to be basic content, but it is very good. There's a book on emotional anatomy that if you want, you can. Yeah, but it's a very complicated subject. But with you having an MSc background, definitely it'll help you.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Thank you all. Before giving the vote of thanks and the closing prayer, we'll just want to share a few things about the next few programs which we are planning. I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, then today we have the stick diagram post. Probably everybody has seen that. This is conducted by Balamurli sir, which is currently going on. And the next is we have planned for YCB3 level 3 course, which is a paid course, which starts on August 3rd. And the third one will be Hatha Yoga Pratipika. It will go for weekly once. It is a free course. Okay, it is also planned to launch by August 3rd. Okay, and we are also coming up with Bhagavad Gita. Okay, I'm working on both the aspects, Hatha Yoga Pratipika as well as Bhagavad Gita, and we'll plan for the future webinars also. Okay, and now it's the time for giving the vote of thanks. Okay, and once again. So again, namaste to everyone present on behalf of Oordhvam and in coordination with IYA Tamil Nadu chapter. It is my absolute privilege and honor to extend a warm vote of thanks to today's insightful live webinar on emotional wellness through yoga. We extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Srimati Gautami Darvesh, certified international yoga trainer and therapist. Thank you, ma'am, for your enlightening us on how inner journey is the foundation of outer success, and for demanding that managing our emotions is just as critical as building life skills. Your comprehensive breakdown of the core concept truly opened our eyes. Understanding the 4 dimensions of personality and how unmanaged emotional, physical manifest in our bodies, from anger in our jaws to anxiety in our gut. Providing actionable yogic tools, as the name it to fame it, framework, setting healthy boundaries through ahimsa and satya, and leverage the gut brain, which is the second brain as you informed man, and for the connection emotional balance. A special word of thanks goes to the entire Oordhvam team as well for their dedication and coordination. And lastly, it's all the heroes and the heroines, the yogis and the yoginis. It's to the enthusiastic participants, even on Sunday early morning. And for most of the people, it is Sunday early morning because they didn't get up yet. Correct? You have joined and you are very much active and you invested in your personal growth and well-being. Your active presence, thoughtful engagements, meaningful questions, suggestions, always have made us a grand success. Elevate yourself by yourself Do not degrade yourself. For you or your own friend, that is your mind, and you or your own enemy, which is also your mind. Bhagavad Gita 6.5 or explained beautifully. May we all carry forward the wisdom shared today to nurture our emotional health and build positive lasting habits. Thank you once again and have a peaceful and blessed day. If anybody have not yet registered and they need e-certificates or any course details, upcoming details or future webinars recordings, keep me posted. Please note my number. Dr. Kaushik, you can contact me in WhatsApp. Kaushik 99625 65850. Those who don't have my number, please take it down. Thank you once again, Gautami ma'am and Ranjit sir. We'll go with the closing prayer. Gautami ma'am, can you please do the closing prayer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Sit back in a comfortable posture. If you want, you can join your palms. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shantihi 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 Hari Om.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Thank
That
you
was a
all.
great session.
Thank you for having
Bye.
us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
It
you,
was a
ma'am.
beautiful session.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Kaushik.
Hari Om, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. All right.
End the session.